There's been a lot of talk in recent weeks about the ability of the Ukrainian military to slow or even stall Russian progress for its invasion. Experts have shared a range of factors for why the Russian military has run into problems. But when the rubber, or track, meets the road, a good bit of Ukrainian success has been their ability to use small, portable missile systems to strike lumbering columns of Russian vehicles. Ukrainians have been using the following systems according to media reports. The FGM-148 Javelin, a US-built shoulder-fired weapon that can reach out to about 2,500 meters with a self-guided targeting system that uses infrared homing. The warhead is designed to punch through tank armor, which makes it effective against most, if not all, of Russian vehicles rolling into Ukraine. They're also using the next-generation light anti-tank weapon, or NLAW. You might remember the LAW rocket from such 80s classic action films like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Commando. It can hit targets between 600 and 800 meters and also has a self-guidance and line-of-sight firing system. But the Javelin weighs in about 50 pounds, while the NG LAW comes in at about under 30 pounds. Both are manageable by a single soldier. The United States delivered about 300 Javelins to the Ukrainian government in January, according to news reports. That delivery spiked significantly when, according to the Washington Post, a combined US and NATO shipment sent 17,000 anti-tank weapons, many of them Javelins, just this past month. That's a lot of missiles roaming the Ukrainian countryside. And technically, that's almost 2 Javelins for every tank that Russia has in its entire military, which is about 10,000 tanks. However, most of those will likely be used on other armored vehicles or even unarmored vehicles carrying infantry or other fighters. But the capacity could be strained. That's because experts put the cost of a Javelin at between $80,000 to $200,000 per warhead, and most US manufacturers can build at most about $6,500 a year under current conditions. As of this past week, Ukrainian officials claim that they have destroyed 335 Russian tanks and more than 1,100 armored vehicles, although those numbers can't be officially verified. The Javelin locks into a vehicle's thermal signature, so it's nearly a fire-and-forget type of weapon once the shooter sends the round. It's also able to do a top-down attack, basically hitting the less armored top part of the tank, creating more of an impact where it's thinly armored when it strikes. There are a couple of homegrown Ukrainian rocket systems that are being used as well, although they're a bit heavier and at least one of them requires 2 soldiers complete with a tripod system to use. The first is the lighter system, the RK-3 Corsair. It weighs in about under 60 pounds, it can strike with a laser-guided system out to about 2,500 meters, and also uses a tandem hollow charge similar to the Javelin. Lastly is the Stugna P, which has the farthest range of all these rocket systems to about 5,500 meters, and also has a laser-guided system, the tandem hollow charge, and also a high-explosive fragmentation round. The key benefit to all 4 shoulder-fired or tripod-mounted systems is these are easy to operate. With minimal training, a soldier or civilian even can quickly join the fight and be shown how to use these, pick these up, point them at a target and fire, and then get the heck out of there. That's because, from what we've seen so far, Russians don't spend a lot of time determining a specific target. Instead, they begin launching their barrages in the direction of the incoming fire. And the Russian military has a lot of firepower at its fingertips. U.S. intelligence officials estimate that there are about 120 battalion tactical groups inside of Ukraine as of this week from the Russian military. The BTG is a smaller version of the U.S. Brigade Combat Team. They use a combined assets of infantry, artillery, and air defense. Experts who track Russian military strength have said about 3/4 of the entire Russian military's BTGs are in Ukraine right now. A BTG typically has 3 infantry companies, a tank company with 10 tanks, another 2 companies of wheeled BTRs or personnel carriers, and a company of 10 BMP tracked infantry fighting vehicles. Russians use 4 main battle tanks, all armed with 125mm cannons. That weapon's range hits out anywhere to between 1 and 5 kilometers depending on the variant. The tracked infantry fighting vehicles carrying soldiers to the fight also brings with them a 30mm cannon and some even with a 100mm cannon. The BMP-1 carries an anti-tank guided missile system. Russians have 4 infantry fighting vehicle variants. The armored personnel carriers, or BTRs, also bring infantry to the fight and have their own weapon systems, a bit smaller but very effective, the 14.5, 12.7, and 30mm cannons with their machine guns. They can strike targets between 1 kilometer or as far as 4 kilometers, again depending on the vehicle variant. And then there's artillery and rockets. The Russian military is a fire-based fighting force. They like to lob a lot of lead downrange and bring plenty to the fight to do exactly that. Russian forces have 4 different self-propelled artillery pieces that all use a 152mm artillery round and hit areas between 20 and 80 kilometers. Like the United States, Russians still have towed artillery with variants between 120mm and 152mm. Those have ranges slightly shorter than the 12 to 30 kilometer distance. Their rocket systems pack a larger and farther reaching punch. The 5 different systems in the Russian arsenal tote rounds from the 120mm up to 300mm and land between 35 kilometers, clear out to 90 kilometers. This allows forces much like the US to keep their fires at a safe distance, usually protected, and then rain down a firestorm of munitions on a target. Keeping those systems on target is the duty of at least 3 different drone variants: the Aileron 3, the 4-post, and the Orlan 10. Those have 16 to 18-hour loitering capabilities, so they can just hover over a target or move around the battlefield. Some simply gather data and spot targets, others are armed themselves and can strike. Some may have seen footage of air attacks at close range. Those involve Russian attack helicopters such as the Mi-24 or 35 variant and the Mi-28. Similar in capabilities to the Apache attack helicopter, they also have rockets, IR missiles, air-to-ground missiles, and a 30mm cannon to boot. It's important to remember that time and again, even less sophisticated systems such as cheap, expendable, and easy-to-use rocket-propelled grenades have thwarted the United States in less than well-armored vehicles. Ukrainian weapons used so far are specialized to take out ground vehicles and armor, which is appropriate for how they're being employed against the Russian military. Some have called for delivering man-portable air defense systems, or MANPADS, such as the Stinger, and have those sent to the Ukrainians. They are similarly easy to use compared with more complex weaponry and geared to take out helicopters, planes, and drones. Most MANPADS can hit aircraft up to about 3 miles away. The United States supplied enough MANPADS, specifically Stingers, to Afghan fighters in the 1980s to counter the Soviet occupation in that country. In a 3-year period, Afghans were able to take out an estimated 269 Soviet aircraft, mostly helicopters. The Soviet Union did its own MANPAD exports, sending shipments to Libya in the 1980s, some of which were then shared with terrorist organizations. Official data estimates show that several thousand MANPADS are currently outside of state control. This presents a vexing problem for military and civilian aircraft. Following the 2003 US-led Iraq invasion, as many as 4,000 MANPADS were determined to be missing from Iraqi military stocks, according to the Arms Control Association 2013 report. So that's been an overview of both the Russian and Ukrainian weapon systems employed in this conflict and concerns about proliferation beyond Ukraine. We'll continue tracking this story. This has been Todd South of Military Times.